On a warm and muggy early Thursday morning in Austin, Texas, it was a privilege to be invited by Butch Smith, the trail manager, George Cofer, the longtime Hill Country Conservancy CEO, and Carolyn Stevens, the development and marketing specialist for HCC, for a private walk and talk on the Violet Crown Trail. I brought along my two kids, Isla and Ian, to learn about one of the premier urban hiking trails in the United States.
So everything on the trail is custom built. Nothing's off the shelf. So we work with a lot of very special craftsmen.
Yeah, they're beautiful signs.
The guy that built the stonework is one of the old guys that still does craftsmanship and stonework.
That's great.
And
so, Butch, how long have you been working on this?
10 years.
10 years. Yeah.
It took 8 years just to get the permission to start.
Right.
So we've been under construction for a while.
What is the sort of the timeline for finishing, do you think, at this point, or is it hard to say?
We hope to start what we call the next 3 miles to be from Lady Bird Johnson Wildfire Center south to SH-45 Trail. We hope to be able to construct that next year.
Great.
And then after that, the next section of the trail is another 17 miles south into Hayes County.
Yeah.
And we'll have to start a new capital campaign to raise the funds.
For that, yeah.
So this is an area we're going to do what we call placemaking. The idea is we're going to do a giant mural on this wall.
Nice.
Make this as like a gathering area. Bring in some stones like that. So we just finished a lot of trail building.
Yeah.
Now we're moving into the maintenance phase.
Right.
So we have relationships with some groups already. The Austin Ridge Riders, for example.
Oh yeah.
They have which is a mountain bike club.
Right.
And they've adopted a section of the trail. The intent is to work with all the local neighborhoods that the trail passes through.
Sure.
And to adopt a section of the trail also.
Nice.
So it does two things. One, it helps us maintain the trail.
Right.
And then it makes everybody feel like that they have a vested interest in the trail.
Yeah.
And it's like their trail since they maintain it.
Right.
There will also be, I think at some point we'll have an opportunity. Butch, I remember when you said let's do stone carving. Get one of the stonemasons to come out, placed by the trail with some big blocks of limestone.
Right.
It was an old Scottish stonemason that was
Really?
mentoring people in the area.
Oh wow.
Our Young Professionals program is called Emerging Professionals in Conservation.
Right.
The acronym is EPIC, so we have EPIC outings in the Hill Country. That's by Carolyn and her team.
That's awesome.
And Emerging Professionals in Conservation not only helps maintain the Violet Crown Trail, but they have created the artwork. A member of EPIC created the artwork, designed and created the signage, the interpretive signage for one of the pollinator gardens. I mean, that was a really thick cedar brake. And we negotiated with TxDOT, City of Sunset Valley, and City of Austin, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and we put some agreements in place, got permission to build a trailhead there.
Right.
Started whacking it out, but the next door neighbor is a landscape architect. And he and Butch, I mean, it sounds trite, but they scratched it out on a couple of pieces of paper. That was it. We're good to go.
Great.
And that trailhead brings together, as you have seen, many of the elements we're talking about.
Yeah.
You all see the difference. Remember back there we were saying it looked like asphalt.
Yeah.
Right.
And so this is a different type of binder and a different proportion of binder to gravel. So far we like it a lot.
We're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So we're developing a comprehensive signage system.
Uh-huh.
So for example, right here, we'll have a sign that say Dick Nichols Park that way,
Right.
Violet Crown Trail Park this way.
Yeah.
So we're developing custom-built signs, which will have all kinds of information. They'll have directions, mileage, maps, 911 emergency information, all along the trail.
That's great. Yeah.
It's nearby developments donate to the parkland dedication fee, and we had our first meeting yesterday with the city employees who currently administer those funds.
Nice.
And they said, just give us a map. Zilker the Ladybird show us where every opportunity is for us to spend this money.
So what is the origin story? Who is the person who came up with the vision, if you will, for the trail?
Anytime that stakeholder group talked about what would be an appropriate use for this track or that track,
Right.
Butch and I would both go trails.
Yeah.
So we didn't quite know where we were headed with all that, but
Right.
we did have early on, in the early 2000s, a plan to get from Zilker down into Hayes County.
Right.
We didn't know what that route was.
Sure.
We used to call it Walk for a Day.
Right.
We just thought, okay, we need some sort of name.
Right.
We originally envisioned starting with Ladybird and going into Hayes County, and changed and decided to start and go from Zilker to Ladybird.
Right.
2006, 7, we hired someone Butch had known for a long time, Chuck Flink, to do a master plan
Right.
for the whole 30 miles, and that got adopted by City of Austin, Sunset Valley, City Councils, a lot of whom was right 15 years ago.
Right.
And so we then begin to work on the agreements, and simultaneously we realized Walk for a Day is not much of a name. We had named the Violet Town Trail came from some stakeholder groups.
Huh.
We didn't seed the groups with that name.
Sure.
They thought of it.
Right.
Independent stakeholder groups thought of that. The science and the math of water flow is complex and fun. So measuring what happens when there's this much water and understanding that mathematically and scientifically and the impact on the field allows us, the engineers, to design something that will hold up.
So it's a completely prefabricated bridge,
Right.
which we bought from an outfit out of Conservancy.
Uh-huh.
And so it comes fully engineered, but it's lightweight. It's all fiberglass. So each one of these pieces can be brought to the site, by a couple of people walking.
Okay.
It doesn't require big equipment to do it.
Right.
So we wanted to try that out.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting because I think we installed it in late March or early April. So I pulled up with a big flatbed truck up there with all this material on it. It had a pile of snow on it. It was too funny. Example, this stretch right here is actually private. This is a pre-K school.
Okay.
And so we had to negotiate with them to get an easement.
I see. Right.
And initially they were afraid. They said some of the parents were afraid, oh no, we don't want people walking back here with our kids being right there.
Right.
And so we convinced them, we says, oh no, the safest thing you can do is to put a trail there because it brings in the neighbors. And
Right.
the neighbors are the eyes and the ears.
It's
Otherwise
true.
you could have anybody back here.
Sure.
So it's our relationship with them is very good.
That's great.
Our maintenance guy said, why are you bringing them on the trail this time of the year? It's actually in the worst shape of all year right now because of the heat and the drought and everything.
Yeah.
But in the spring, this is quite vibrant, and it does get visited by butterflies.
Here's the logo of the Emerging Professionals in Conservation.
Oh, that's great. Epic. Yeah.
Yes, and you are the perfect demographic.
We started here,
Right.
and we're here now. So we always have two maps. One is an overall map,
Yeah.
and the other is a more localized map. Safe crossing area,
Right.
and they're hard to come by.
And this wasn't here before.
The Neighborhood Partner Projects.
Right.
We're a hill country, a nonprofit, and a neighborhood and transportation create safe crossings.
Yeah. What about the area south of 45 into Hayes County? Are there trails already there that you're following, or is that completely new?
Our route is new. There are trails, and it's a big problem for the city of Austin. People go out there and get lost or get hurt. I don't know where they are, and then can't call anybody.
Sure.
So we have a public safety group comprised of emergency responders, police, fire, EMS. That's another aspect of the Violet Crown Trail that we take very seriously. And
Right.
You know, our philosophy is, and I think it's a good one, that if you want to develop an environmental ethic,
Right.
get people to really care and support the efforts to preserve and conserve land,
Sure.
you got to get them out there in nature.
Of course. Yeah. 2/3 of your time is just taken up by getting all of the preparation and permissions.
And during that period, the Hill Country Conservancy spent $1 million to get all of that done.
Wow.
When they trail journey or wildflower journey, sort of like Ladybird Johnson's idea of turning the highways into wildflower corridors.
Right, yeah.
We want to do the same thing as much as possible.
Yeah, that's great.
The conversation about trail apps that the groups in Austin started and realized what an undertaking it is. To put it simplistically, we do not want trail users to have to download 10 apps. I'll tell you about the Slaughter Ranch, and we'll tell you about the Slaughter Meat Packing Company down at 4th and Natchez. And so embedding those stories, that interpretation into the app, it also candidly allows for some revenue sharing with the nonprofits.
All right, okay.
Trying to get everybody onto one app in Central Texas, that's the goal.
Travel Stories is the
Travel Stories,
one.
check it out.
When there's a heavy rainfall, I've been standing here and this deep in water right here.
Really?
This fills up with water and then it sinks back down into the hollers. So it's actually a recharge system. A little sink here, they say, there's also a recharge feature.
Wow.
There's what I call a braided drainage pattern in here. So you've got the major creek, and you've got a whole series of minor creeks that also are active during flood stages.
Right.
So we had to come back in here and rebuild this.
Was this here before, or did they?
When you're building trails, you learn as you go. You learn. Mother Nature will teach you where your weak spots are.
Where it's vulnerable, yeah.
That's right. So we came back in here and built this to armor this. So the idea, hopefully the idea, is that the water will just simply come over and across the trail and go on down.
Right.
So that it'll just float loose and go downstream. And then when the flood's over, we'll come back and just reattach.
That's great. Must be pretty spectacular standing here when there's a flood.
Well, I mean, it was powerful enough to where you can see right here, this is where one of our posts was. It actually bent this steel right here.
Oh,
the
wow.
floodwater bent the steel.
That's amazing.
I mean, it's powerful. But it is absolute when it's not in flood stage, but when it's flowing, it is just beautiful.
Right.
Crystal clear. Underneath here is poured concrete. And the guys brought in 100 sacks of concrete and mixed them right here and poured this footing. And they brought in this stone. You can see on the side of it, all the way down.
Oh yeah.
To make it look more natural.
Nice.
And also it kind of has that bumpy bump effect that will let people know how you need to slow down a little bit here.
That's great.
So anyway, end of our tour.
Thank you very much. That is really great. We really appreciate. Thank you so much,
This has
George.
been good. This has been fun.
I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And we'll.
It was very nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Motivated to get involved more. Thanks, Carolyn.
Thank you. Yeah, see you, definitely. It was so nice to meet you. Nice meeting you.
It's just a fantastic trail. It really is. It's great work that you've done.
Absolutely.